Hello. In this video, I'm going to demonstrate the use of for loop in Java. Let's begin by creating a project using for loop. And then I create a new class for writing program. I'll call it as program01. Now, a for loop is best suited when you have a number of iterations already known. For example, if you want to use a multiplication table that you know how many times the loop should go, if you want to find out nth power of, then you want to get nth power of m. If you want to know, you know that exactly how many times you need to multiply. So if you really want to do such things, a for loop is best. Now, a for loops has a syntax which says for expression 1, expression 2, and expression 3. Now, all of them are optional, and this is your statements. Now, the first one is executed only one times, and that is generally is used as an initializer. So, if you want to use some loop variables and you want to initialize that, this is the best place for that to be done. Now, the second one happens to be a condition that decides whether the loop should be executed or not. So this is supposed to be a Boolean, and unlike C or C++, you cannot use a number to decide that. So it has to be a Boolean. If it is true, the loop block is executed, and if it is false, the loop is skipped and the next statement is executed. The expression 3, which is again optional, is to generally control the loop navigation. So like, incrementing a loop variable or decrementing a loop variable. However, you can keep any kind of statement over there. Now, let's take an example of finding a prime number, or is it a prime number or not a number. Now, we'll just accept this time from the user. Now, to accept data from the user, Java 5 provides a class called scanner, and all I have to do is to say scanner sc equals to new scanner. And the source for reading is our system.in, which is our input device, which is our keyboard. So now I can start reading a number from the user. So I can say something like this. Let's say int num, and then I'll say num equals to sc.nextInt. Now note that we have to give a message before that. So I'll use a system.out.println or print because I want to enter in the same line. I'll say enter a number, and that number would be entered into this particular num. Now, if the user has entered something that is not an int, then this would throw some kind of error and stops the program. So let us assume that we are going to enter it properly. Now that we understood or what we accepted from the user a number, we want to check, is this a prime number or not. So a prime number is not divisible by anything other than 1 and itself, and the biggest number it can divide is half of it. So I can now use a loop that goes from 2 till half of it. So we use something like this. Now we can declare a variable outside of a for loop, but as a best practice, it is a good idea to keep the variables inside the for loop, so they have a shorter lifespan. So we'll say int I, which is a loop variable, is going to be starting from 2, and then we check a limit. I declare one more variable called limit, which is half of num, so which is num divided by 2. Now alternately, we could have gone and checked here saying I less than num divided by 2. Now the problem with this is that this is executed or evaluated every time the loop progresses, and it has to perform an arithmetic operation which doesn't fetch a different value. So why unnecessarily repeat that? So we'll say that limit equals to num divided by 2. Then I check I less than or equals to limit. Then we say I plus plus. So we are picking a number from 2 till almost half of this. So if it's an odd number anyway, it's not going to work. It's not going to be divided by 2. So we get the previous number. So we check that up to half of that and say if the remainder of num and divided by I, if it is 0, that is divisible, that means it is not a prime number. So I'm going to go give here something like this. Now I can use a Boolean flag to check and print. For example, I can say here Boolean is prime is, let's say it is false, it is not, or probably it is a true, indicating it is a prime number. But if num modulus I is equals to 0, that means it is divisible, so it is not a prime now. So I'll say is prime equals to false. Now, and also I can say break to come out of the loop. Now, once the loop is broken, it comes out here and I can check, hey, if is prime, now that's a boolean, I don't have to check again if is prime equals to true. So I can just say, hey, is this true? Then we'll say that probably num is a prime number, and else probably I check and say something like num is not a prime number. So we save this. Of course, it expects the scanner to be closed. We'll say sc.close to close that. Now that there is no warning, we can execute the same and see if the results are matching. Let's go and execute and enter a number. Let's enter a number like 11, which is a prime. And you can see it says 11 is a prime number. And I enter something like 13, or 13 is also a prime number. Let's give around 17 is a prime number. I give 19, which is a prime number. Let's give 21, which is not a prime number because it is divisible by 3. It says 21 is not a prime number. So that is how you will be able to use a for loop for your advantage.